Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. And here with me today, I have a diamond in the rough. I'd like you guys to meet. This here is John Thomas. He is an offensive lineman out of the University of New Haven. Nice to have you today, sir.
Yeah, nice to be here, Jim.
Hey, appreciate having you here. Always love talking to guys that are closer to home, or at least from closer to home. And you've had a pretty decent off season. Named all conference a couple times over, and spent some time at the Tropical Bowl. So hopefully we'll get some time to talk about all that. John, go ahead and introduce yourself, and let's get going.
My name is John Thomas. I play offensive line for the University of New Haven. I also spent some time at Clarion University, and I'm from Baltimore, Maryland.
Yeah, from Dunbar High School. So let's give those guys a shout out real quick. Um, do want to talk about your time there, but I mean, John, tell us how long you've been playing football.
I've been playing football since I was 6, so it's going on. It's 17 years.
So 17 years. And I realize, not everybody is an offensive lineman at first, but talk me through your journey, man. I mean, how did you develop into an offensive lineman growing up?
So, growing up, I seem to always be bigger than the kids around me, and since I was playing football at 6 years old, I was bigger than all of the rest of the kids. I kind of just got thrown to offensive line, and I've been playing that pretty much all my life. I did spend a slight stint playing running back at one point in time, but I was younger because with me being bigger, I was also faster, so they put me at running back for a little bit. But then I started to, put on a little bit of weight, and when I put on a little bit of weight, that's when they put me on the line for the rest of my life, and I haven't looked back since.
I hear you. And obviously, as we had mentioned, went to Dunbar High School. So uh, when you were in Dunbar High School, I have in my notes that you also did a little bit of lacrosse. But I mean, talk me through your time there at Dunbar, man. Any fond memory you want to share?
Fond memory. I remember dang, man, that's a lot. That's kind of hard to choose, to be real. But I would name the biggest one. In 2017, my sophomore year of high school, we actually won the state championship, and I had started on JV actually within that 2017 season, and got bumped up to varsity, and went on the long journey throughout the playoffs with my team, and finished out on top.
Nice. You play alongside any other guys who we might know?
Um, if I could think, you might know him. It's a running back. He played at Shaw University. His name is Andre Brandon. I don't know if he's in the was in this draft class or last year's draft class, but he was a year older than me. So yeah,
Nice.
he and in 2018, my junior season, he was a senior. He rushed for 2,000 yards behind our offensive line.
That's crazy. So you're part of an offensive line that really helped him do some great things. So great. So coming out of Dunbar High School though, end up at Clarion first. So tell me a little bit about your time there at Clarion and then eventually like you getting to New Haven.
Yeah. Okay. So I ended up at Clarion initially because out of high school I was very under recruited, and Clarion gave me my best opportunity to put myself out there and showcase my talents. I knew that the PSAC was a pretty good Division II conference, so I decided to go to Clarion and again showcase my talents. Unfortunately, Clarion wasn't the best team, and especially within 2020 in that 2021 season, we went 0-11, and I knew that like my time there was coming to an end, which it
Well,
eventually
it's
did.
okay because I mean, obviously, pretty much did a 180 and ended up going to New Haven, where winning is has been synonymous with that program. I mean, winning conference championships several times over and being a part of a lot of great teams. Talk to me a little bit about your time there at New Haven. Let's just talk about New Haven in general for people that aren't as familiar with it. Can you talk about the school?
Yes, sir. So at the University of New Haven, winning is a culture, winning is a standard. And in order to be a part of that culture, you got to be willing to work hard. And just speaking about me personally, I do have a very strong work ethic, and I wanted my hard work to pay off and win. That's why I do think that New Haven was a really good fit for me when I transferred there.
Yeah, a little bit more north than Clarion. End up in Connecticut, I believe, is where the school is, and
Yes, sir.
so um, and yeah, like we had all mentioned, a winning program. I know these past few seasons done very well, winning conference, and you personally, at least I have in my notes, these past couple seasons being first team all conference, which is really nice. John, when I introduced you as an offensive lineman, but what does that mean? What position have you played the most during your time in college?
Okay, so most of my time in college, I played center and guard. Um, we seem to always have, a center for our team, so I took my spot at guard. But as time, did go on with injuries at the center position, I stepped in at center, did a phenomenal job to where I did get my first nod for the first team all conference. Started out at center just this past season, and I honestly played all over the offensive line, and I ended up getting my second first team all conference nod in 2024. So,
Nice. And one of the things about you, man, is over these past few years, been very reliable, been healthy, been able to start a whole bunch of games. How many games have you started for your collegiate years?
um, so I played 37 games in my collegiate career. I started all 37 games.
Nice. So no real injuries, nothing to set you back. I mean, you've been healthy, it seems, right?
I mean, well, I will say when it comes to playing offensive line, you'll have your wear and tears. I take very good care of myself, so it doesn't hold me back from playing and producing for the team at a high manner.
Yeah, hey, it's nice to be able to to know how to take care of yourself. So and John, done well for yourself over the years, and again put yourself in a position right now where you're an NFL prospect, and you've put yourself in a position attending some of these all-star events too, but I will eventually get there. Let's talk about your offense there at New Haven. How would you describe said offense?
So I will say that we are really heavy RPO team. We run a lot of inside zone, but we do like to dip and dive in the pass game here and there. But I will say we're a very run heavy team.
So I guess it sort of kind of mirrors a little bit about what you did in high school. When you're able to be a very solid run blocker. Of course, when you got the guys behind you running couple thousand yards,
Yes.
it's something that comes natural. Obviously, something that you continued during your timing in college. Not necessarily had guys behind you that ran 2,000 yards, but had a solid line there to put together, an offense. Talk up some of the guys around you, maybe some other guys a part of that offensive line, maybe some of those playmakers there for New Haven.
Yes, indeed. Well, first I want to speak about number 76, Justin Cesare. He's always been my tackle. So I will play left guard. He will be left tackle, and that's my guy. That's my guy. Our running back, number 21, Christopher Ace. He actually ran for 1,000 yards twice while I've been a part of the offensive line, back in 2022 and in 2024. So we've had much success as well with him running the ball.
Yeah, a lot of great success. So, John, I mean, we talked about you and your ability to be a very effective run blocker, but what do you feel maybe perhaps separates you as a prospect? What do you think maybe some of your better attributes as a player?
Um, One thing I will say, I use my quickness to my advantage. For a fact, I'm able to get in the right placements at the right timing before the defensive lineman could even think about making a move. Um, Going based off measurements that I'm pretty sure a lot of scouts have, I'm the undersized offensive lineman, but I play bigger than my size. I'm aggressive. I'm a mauler. I'll say that even when it comes to the pass game, I'm a very I'm a very technical person where it comes to, both run game and pass game as well. I'm able to, use my quickness, my abilities, what I have measurements wise in order to make the effective blocks and allow the playmakers to do the playmaking.
Hey, well, you've done well doing that over your career. John, you had mentioned somewhat so that people maybe call you a little undersized. And so what is your current height and weight, man? I just want to clarify what I have in my notes.
Um, I think they measured me at 6'1" and a quarter, and at the tropical bowl I weighed in at 282, I believe. That's
So
correct.
6'1" and a quarter, 282. A lot of people, when they look at those numbers, I feel like they don't get the full picture because really some of the other numbers on you really help you out even more so. I mean, we're looking at a guy with some decent sized hands, 10 and 1/8 inch hands, decent sized arm length, 32 and 5/8. And your wingspan is actually really good for a guy your size, 79.5 inches. Obviously, indicating that you do have that broad chest that people really want to have for those interior linemen. So, certainly helps a guy like you. So, I mean, let's not, you know, uh, push things aside as a guy that we might think is undersized because you do have some of the other measurables that scouts want. So, um, let's talk more about your time at uh, at New Haven because obviously, man, been a part of a lot of great games. Of course, winning your conference and doing well. So, uh, talk about some of your best moments, if you don't mind. There, can you walk me through maybe a game or even a particular play?
Of course, of course. So, in 2023, it was actually on the day of my birthday. We played our conference championship game against Bentley University, and that's one of our biggest rivals in the Northeast 10 conference. And there was obviously a lot at stake at that game. So, whoever won that game was going to win the conference championship. It was also my birthday, so there was family at the game as well, and um, I knew that essentially with the situation that was in play, I had to bring my A game, and I think that was probably one of my best college games ever. Like within my career, I played phenomenal. I started off at guard. Our center had an injury, so I moved in at center, and I did an exceptional job at both guard and center that game. And our team ended off with the win, and that's how we got our first conference win. I could go on with our other, championship game as well, but I will highlight that one because that was first one for us to go back to back.
So, obviously Bentley being a rival there for New Haven, I was looking at the difference between those games in 2023 and 2024. Completely different games. Where you're looking at the 2023 matchup, it's very low score. It's what 14-13. You guys had this grueling matchup like on the offensive and defensive lines. And so not a lot of offense. But the one you had this past season, man, you got both teams really exploded, very high powered offenses on both ends. Um, Describe this past season and that particular matchup.
Well, I'll say that this past season with that matchup was most definitely a shootout. I'll say it was definitely a shootout. I'll say that our offense started to connect by that week because I think that was week 4 of the season. Yeah, so our quarterback, receivers, running back started to connect, and once we started to connect, we started to get on a roll. And granted, Bentley University, they are they're a very decent team. Even though that's a deep rival within my heart, I could say that they were a decent team. Um,
Sure, that's fair.
their offense brought their A game as well against our defense. So it just ended up whose offense could show out the most. And with our offense starting to click by that week, we just we came out with the W.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of wanted to highlight again with that particular offense. It's a little different than what we've already mentioned when we talk about you as a very effective run blocker, where in that particular game, you guys were airing it out a whole lot more. And so you were able to obviously go out there. What position were you this past season, man? Were you playing center that game?
Uh, and that game, our tackle went down with an injury, so I ended up playing right tackle that game.
Wow. So you're playing right tackle. That's
Yes.
that's kind of interesting. Again, I love the fact that you are the kind of guy who, you're just, available and healthy to play. You were able to be plugged in damn near anywhere on the offensive line and very effective there for New Haven. So obviously, man, had a good season, closed out everything, and then ended up at the FCS Bowl, and then that propelled you to the Tropical Bowl. Let's pause at the FCS Bowl and just talk me through that whole process, if you don't mind.
Okay. So for me to get invited to the FCS Bowl, they reached out to me on my social media on Instagram. They actually tried to invite me early on in the season, and I made a mistake and I just missed their DM, and they actually invited me later on, like in the season. I believe it was week 8. So when I received the invite, of course, I accepted the invite, and I went down there to Daytona Beach, Florida, and honestly had a phenomenal experience going against top small school guys within the country. Um, Sold out to the point where I talked to multiple scouts, both NFL and CFL, and yeah, it was a great experience. Also, making a lot of great connections, a lot of great bonds and stuff. So yeah,
Gotcha. And then, of course, obviously, that is kind of a feeder bowl to the Tropical Bowl. And so they end up inviting the best players from the FCS Bowl to go to the Tropical Bowl, where you are then put up against FBS talent. And so talk about your one-on-ones that you experienced there.
uh, the one on ones. I'll be very honest. The nervousness was there initially because I had an initial view of myself of, oh shoot, I'm a Division 2 guy. I haven't gone against any sort of FBS talent, or at least like the amount of FBS talent that was right there at the Tropical Bowl. But I will say, after a while, I started to take in the full setting that yes, I'm here. So with me being here, I'm also just as talented as guys. And once I started doing the one on ones, I, I quickly realized that I was meant to be here.
Kind of feels a little nice though to be able to say, you know what, a lot of D1 guys whiffed on you, man. Like with you being able to go out to the Tropical Bowl and do well against Division 1 talent. All these guys completely like missed on you, man. You kind of do you keep that chip on your shoulder still or what?
Man, it's a heavy chip. It's a heavy chip. It's a chip that keeps me going.
Gotcha. Obviously, as a part of the All-Star circuit, really the most important thing is being able to do these interviews with some teams. For people who might be interested in that sort of thing, talk me through a few of the teams maybe that you talked to, and I don't know, just kind of your overall experience with them. I mean, any crazy questions or something that they asked you.
Okay, so I remember from the FCS Bowl, I talked to a Detroit Lions scout, and we actually had a really long conversation on the phone for about 20, 25 minutes. And it was really good. It was really good. At the Tropical Bowl, I talked to the Packers, Jets, Falcons, and 49ers. I had, many interviews with them in person, and those went good as well. A bizarre question, so that seemed a bit bizarre, I guess, was the Detroit Lions scout talking to me on the phone about what's a strength that you view of yourself and what's a weakness that you view of yourself. And when I started to start to think to myself, he said to me, he said, and you don't have to give no cliche answer or anything like that. Just be open, just be honest, just be real. And I thought about it to myself because a lot of scouts, I do believe that they would want the, cliche type of answer, but with the scout, like, letting me know to just be real because that's what they would prefer. I let them know, like, exactly just, what it is that I view highly of myself and what I view like lowly of myself of something that I will want to work on. And that was my way of like putting it to them. Something that I want to work on to improve, not just something that's a weakness and that's it. But yeah, I'll say
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and I think sometimes maybe the I don't know, typical answer sometimes from guys that play small school is like, you have yet to play bigger names against bigger talent. But again, you were able to do that fairly well at the Tropical Bowl. So you answered a lot of questions in that regard, putting yourself in a position where these NFL teams are interested in you. So definitely something nice to be able to take away from your time there. So cool. Uh, John, I want to go ahead and move forward, and I want to meet this guy off the field just a little bit, if you don't mind. We've talked about you as a football player, done very well there at New Haven, and did a great job at the FCS Bowl and Tropical Bowl. But is there anything else about you that you want to share, whether it be your hobbies, your interests, any fun facts, your special talents that you want to let people know of? Talk to me about you.
Of course. Well, I'm just at the start of 2024, I started to get into photography. And I actually found that something that I really enjoy. Just the there's a beauty of capturing an image. And when you capture that image, a lot of things that you can think about within that image. That's something that I enjoy a lot, and I got into photography because back when I'll say yeah, back when my sister was alive, God rest her soul, I would take her pictures a lot, and I she would always talk about like how good I was at taking her pictures. She would always want me to take her pictures, and when she passed away, that's just also a piece. That's also a piece as to why I take pictures and do photography as well, just to take my time to remember her. And I'm also I'm also deep within my faith as well. I'm a devoted Christian, and I also involve myself within a Christian club within my university called the Christian Crusades for Christ, and I've been in it since 2023, and I've loved it and I enjoyed it. God has brought me through a lot, and he has saved me. So that's
Nice.
what I'll say.
Want to walk through some of that and maybe throw some other fun questions your way. You talked about photography being fun for you. Is that maybe I mean, did you take a class in that like as like along with your major, or was that just something you picked up?
No, my major is sport management. Photography is something I just picked up.
Yeah, I didn't know what your major was because I know
Yeah.
some guys that maybe did like communications or something. Like sometimes photography goes in there somewhere. But I mean, so sports management guy. When did you get your degree? This year or last year?
I'm actually still within the process of getting it right now. I'm finishing up my last semester of school.
Nice. Okay. Well, finishing that up, so that'll be interesting, closing out your time there. Um, as a guy from Baltimore, talk up where you're from, man. I mean, talk up maybe even your family. When you go back home, what's the one home cooked meal that you love having from your family?
Ooh, man! Shout out to Mom Duke. She be cooking it up, man. But I'll get back to the meal thing. I'll talk a little bit about Baltimore City though. Baltimore City. Um, Obviously we have the reputation of it not being the best area, and those rumors are true. Baltimore is not the best area. I will say though that the talent football wise within Baltimore City needs to be put on recognition more because we have a lot of good talent up there. And uh, as of recent memory, like as of today, I'm part of the talent that has come out of Baltimore City to be able to put my city on the map to get some sort of NFL recognition, and that's something I could carry with myself proudly. I'm part of a very big family. I'm actually the youngest kid of six of us total now. It was one seven, but now six. So I'm in a big family, man. But if I had to, talk about one meal that I love from my mother, it's probably it's probably fried chicken, mac and cheese, man. That's something I hold dearly every
There
time I
are
go back home.
there are some things that you can never say no to. Like if I get some fried chicken, I swear I can never say no to that myself.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
and if it's something that your mom makes, then so be it, man. I might
yeah.
have to hit you up next time you're in Baltimore, man. I'll come over for some fried chicken. That sounds like a lot of fun. Um, one more silly question, and then we'll wrap up. Uh, in your spare time, maybe when you're, you know, I don't know, at home chilling or whatever, you have like a favorite movie or TV show that you like to watch?
Favorite movie? Um, I'll say I have like a mix of favorite movies, but I'll say one movie I love to watch is called Gridiron Gang. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with it. That's I think in a way I relate to that movie a lot for the come up of how a lot of those young men were in the movie.
Mhm.
Um, and as far as like what I do like with my spare time, honestly I do a lot of time chilling, relaxing. I talk to family. I have a girlfriend, so I spend a lot of time with her. Yeah, I'm not the type of person to like be all out and about and do a bunch of stuff. So yeah,
It's all right, man. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I mean, we had to give a shout out to the girlfriend, of course. So you met the mark on that one. Obviously, growing up in Baltimore, I'm sure you're a Ravens fan. But obviously, man, you want to be able to maybe perhaps play alongside guys like that. It'd be awesome to block for a guy like Lamar Jackson. So as we're trying to close up our time, uh, tell some of these programs why you would make a great addition to their team and why they should give a guy from New Haven a shot. So close this with your final thought.
okay, cool. Not only will I be a player that will produce on the field based off of my film that you guys have seen, I'm also a person that will produce morale wise within the locker room and outside of football as well. I'll be able to build, connection with the guys and uh, be able to be a uh, good leader, role model, and eventually, again, yes, to become a leader of the team. If I'm able to pull through and last long like that, because I'm often told that I'm wise beyond my years. So that's something that could help out with the team's morale, and to also have a good a good man essentially within the locker room.
Nice. Obviously, an athlete whose trajectory is going up and up, like throughout this off season, closed up his time there with New Haven, did a very fantastic job with them. All conference player there, showcases talent at the FCS Bowl, earning an opportunity at Tropical Bowl. And then, of course, obviously in a position where going to be on an NFL roster, hopefully here soon. So, John, want to wish you the best of luck in your endeavors. All right.
Yeah, thank you, Jimmy.
Once again, I got with me John Thomas, offensive lineman, New Haven. Check him out.